Good evening, guys. It's or good afternoon. It's 4:10 p.m. It's Wednesday, I guess, right? I even don't remember the days nowadays. So Wednesday, because I work from home, right? So it's May 25th, and let's go into notes today. Okay, so I got busy with some other stuff in between while making the video. So today there is no inbox wave, okay? Because I didn't get a chance to open it up in the morning, an entire day pretty much. I did not open inbox wave today, because morning was in another way. One way it was easy, to pick up the direction, but it was completely different mindset today. So this is where you will know how the experienced trader thinks. So so I'm going to be honest with you, right? Because there are a lot of other folks are watching this video also, right? So now, but let me walk you through this thing first, right? So these are the garbage range, okay? So the background story was in the overnight yesterday 6 p.m. when market opened, it tested this area, the top of this test area, and then it got rejection, right? Despite having tomorrow's kind of upward trending day, in the overnight they went above yesterday's high and got rejection one more time from this area, right? And then it was opening up as a gap down today, right? So at least that activity was showing some sellers are active, right? And it better to favor sellers, okay? Now we know the price is balancing here. Look at the ES, same thing whatever I just described, right? And there was nothing really important today except knowing the garbage areas, tops, bottoms, all these things, right? So this was a garbage area, and then both sides are active in between that area, right? Short term buyers are active above this area, okay? That is how you have to read it today. Look for a trend down day or trend up day signs starting today, right? So starting today you have to look for those signs, and then NQ similar area, hunting level is important, right? Very powerful, right? And then 11,650 to 12,077 is a garbage range. That means in that range both parties could be active, right? Short term buyers are active above this area. Look for trend down day or up day signs starting today, right? And then you can read through Russell, right? I didn't check the Russell today. Actually I did in the morning, but after that I didn't look at it, So but you can read through it and watch Russell. And then Dow also, right? Crude, you can also look at this, right? 850 to 887 was the dream number range today, right? So now based on this, right, if you remember this levels and all these things and yesterday's night story, right, going into today, so here this was the notes, in the charts right here, backup seller area, preferred seller area, okay? And then yes, I didn't put any note, did I put notes? I think I did here, right? These are the notes for ES, okay? So now you can look, right, above garbage range, right, all the way up to here, right? So now you can see this was the preferred area, sellers area to hold below, right here, and price was opening up around yesterday's opening area, So, and this was a backup sellers area, right, where it got rejection, right? It was a bold area too, right? So, and this was NQ's area, okay? So if you now in Discord, what we discuss is that today is a Wednesday. Monday there was a two-step process for sellers, and there is no process for buyers. That means Monday we were favoring buyers. Today I said Tuesday I said two-step process for buyers and no process for sellers. That means you can go with the flow for selling, but for buying you have to go 2 levels up, basically two-step process I described already in Discord. So now coming into today, I said both Monday and Tuesday's process applies. That means for buyers you have to wait for two-step process, for sellers also you have to wait for two-step process, So that means I said if price goes above 53, it is supporting buyers. Till then you can't do anything in between. Okay, if price goes below this area, then it is supporting sellers. So in between this and this you can't do anything. Okay, for NQ, this above this area, it's a two-step, it's supporting buyers, and below this area it's supporting sellers. So between this and this you can't do anything. That was the idea I discussed in Discord, right? And then also I said, based on everything else, considering yesterday's high closing, today's gap down open, right? And then I also said, this was a preferred sellers area. In both of them, price was right here of the open, before open. And then we have so many resistance on the way up, right? This was a resistance, confluence area with VWAP and mid. This was a bold R, right? Here also, this were the good R's here, right? So I heavily talked about sellers, and I said, I'm going to prefer sellers. So I talked about sellers till 9:25 or 9:26 in the morning, right? And then suddenly, while I was talking these things, that there are so many resistance and all these things, suddenly something clicked in my mind, So that's where the expertise comes now. So in that last 2 minutes or 3 minutes before open, immediately something clicks in my mind that this is so obvious that here it is like kind of like a foolish view, or full view, or I would say, so the way it was setting up here, the price, right? I was thinking last 2 minutes I thought other way around, and I said, this is too obvious that somebody, it looks like very easy short. If somebody wants to short here, it was very easy short. And that was I was thinking till 9:26. That 32 should hold, it's a preferred area, right? Even though if price goes above it, this sellers will step in. Even though if it goes above it, this sellers will step in, right? So there are so many resistances, it is hard for price to go higher, and it's easy for it to go down because there is only one support, right? So I was thinking from that angle, and that was I was thinking, and there are a lot of sellers, we should short, right? And then immediately something clicks that it is so obvious, that many sellers are right on top of it, and then price is hovering like here, balancing it. Doesn't make sense. Considering this much amount of pressure on the top, it should have easily gone down before even open. Why the hell it is holding it here, And then if this is too obvious, if I can read this, everybody else is also reading that. That means, if it is so easy, so something is off, That means it is a recipe for these guys to get trapped today. That is what I thought, And then I immediately changed my course. Right before open, I said, if price opens up, and if really whatever I'm thinking just now, before open, then price will go through this area first, in first 5-minute candle. Second 5-minute candle, it will go through yesterday's high, And the third 5-minute candle, it will go through 50, this area, or something like that I said. So I was looking for 3 up candles right of the open, right? That was what I was thinking. That means NQ will do the same thing, right? About this, NQ is already favoring buyers, right? So, and right after I finished the discussion, price open here, and then immediately this bar came up. While it was developing, I said, whatever I was thinking seems like it's right. It's going in the right direction. When price was right here, right here. The moment it went above 32, that was the first sign I noticed that maybe it can go upwards now today, And at that point I said in Discord, no shorts. But I only started talking about longs. And then we talked about longs at 32 here, And then we talked about the first pullback, long about 40, I think 40 or 45 here. And then we also talked about if price goes down, 36 is the level, it has to hold above, all these things we talked about it in Discord, live. 786, it's a good level to go long. 802, which is right here, all these things. 770 was a backup line here. Price went below a little bit, but then it held it basically. So here ES also held it, right? And then we were watching open trial kind of price action right here, all these things. So all this thing was pointing to buyers. At that point I said 36 or 32, As long as price is holding above 36 or 32, you stick with longs, look for longs. If price wants to go down, then it has to go through 36 and 32, and you want to see AD going down. That is what we discussed, right? That means you have to favor only longs now. So I took the long right here, at 40, and then NQ I took the long here, and then NQ being NQ, it went down 770, came back up. We discussed all this thing live, right? So, and then NQ was started hesitating here, so I bailed out my NQ. I had a like 50% contract. I bailed out at break even here, after going long. Price went higher actually in my favor, so I was looking for upward move, about this, I was looking for 12,000 as a target, and I was looking for 39.85 as a target in ES also, right? And then damn thing ping pong, right? While ES was holding it here, this thing, I didn't feel right. So first contract I built out, first 50% at break even. Second one, I had a 10-point loss. I cut it on the way down here. So NQ, then I said NQ, I do not trust it. NQ is anyway below even hunting level, while ES was trading above hunting level. So I said NQ, I do not trust it. So I bailed out NQ, right, with 10-point loss, the second 50% lot. But ES, because NQ I bailed out both of them, I had no choice left, but I bailed out one ES also at break even, right? Another ES I held it. Why? Because ES was holding above 32 and 36 at that point also, and then there was not a single sign that was pointing to the downside, right? So I took the chance, because I cannot trade more than whatever I put it in a first time, because my time limits, I had a fixed time limit till 10:30, max I can trade till 10:30. After that I am not allowed to trade, as per my rule for this year. So then I cannot do re-entry, once I am out, I am out. In this chop I would not do any re-entry, because price can do back and forth, keep stopping me out, and then go higher or lower, right? So I held it, right? NQ I built out, and then still I said, favor longs, right? And then it's the NQ picked it up, right? But then I don't want to enter NQ again, but yes, I held it, right? And then right before 10:30, when price was here, I said, now price is ready. If it breaks out, 57 could be the long opportunity, and then I took this one, and then I shared in Discord this way, right? And it was going higher and higher, right? And then we discussed the scenarios, whether we should bail out at 69, which is this level, right? When price was hitting this blue line, right? We discussed that scenario, whether we should bail out or hold it, why not, all this scenario, right? And then when price hit here, then I choose to build out. And NQ hit 918, I said, this is the right time to exit. Right at the top, at that time, right here. And then I said, because of so and so reasons, right? You have to be in my Discord for all these things, right? But there were a couple of reasons I gave, right? So because of those reasons, price, I said it may come down to 60, 63. NQ may come down to here, right, into this area. So it makes sense to bail out here rather than this many points. You have to let it go. You don't want to let it go, right? It can go higher. There was no sign that price will come down, but somehow I have that intuition that it may come back down. And if you look at it, right after this, price came down all the way to even below. See here, first time 60 area, 60, 63, right here, and then it went down, right? So on the way down, before I left, I said, this is a long opportunity too, but don't take it. This is not a good location. And then you got lucky here, because if you listen to me, look at this. It went all the way down to this area, and they turned this area into buying area. See, this preferred sellers area into buying area. And then it pushed higher during FOMC meeting release, right? So I did not trade it anyway after this time period, but if you are watching here, you can see before FOMC meeting release, it was holding this 32-36 area, right? So there was not a question for shorts, because below that shorts were allowed only below that, not above it, right? Above it you have to assume buyers. Here also same thing, right? So during FOMC release, you can see price first candle, both buyers, sellers, right? And then it went higher, then it came down all the way up to this, right? So looks like these buyers are trapped now, right? And then it came down, supposed to go down, but instead it went higher, right? Because of this 32.36, and then took out this area. So now it was a confirmation, because Powell was not talking today, right? It was just a release. So now it's a confirmation that buyers are in control. You wait for a pullback to this top and rely on them, and you enter right here. See, NQ also you can do the same thing. See, in 5 minutes it's clear. If you look at it here, right here, see these things, 68, right? So the moment it went higher, it took out this sellers, right? And now this sellers are trapped. So the moment you see the upthrust, pullback, you enter right here. In NQ also same thing, 918, right here, and then you hold it, and then you manage it accordingly, you know. So, and that be all, you know. That was the trade today, you know, those two, you know, and that be all.